I'm here with Blaine, and we're going to be working with your horse, Dutton. Can you just tell us a little bit about kind of what happened in the situation that led you to wanting some help from me?
Well, we just got our quarter horse, Dutton. We knew he was young. He just turned 4. Green myself, hadn't ridden horses much at all. Worked him on the ground a little bit, got up on him, and instant ejection seat. Threw me right off. Ended up fracturing my spine, my L4 and L5.
There's like a ton of tension in his rib cage, which is interesting to me. But he's kind of hard to bend and hard to stop when things are going well. And so it's hard to think of how great it would go when things are not going well. So, all right, guys, welcome back to the video. We're at part 2 here. It's the same session as part 1 that you guys saw last week. So if you haven't watched part 1, go watch part 1 to see how we got to this point. But I'm thinking that we're okay to ride. I've been wrong before. I've been right before. We'll see what happens here. And his first ride back after bucking his rider off and his owner off and getting broken back out of the deal. So this will be his first ride back after 3 or 4 months. And wish me luck. So, not usually a great sign when they walk off. I'm just going to ask him to back up here. And one of the things I shared in that first video is that he's just kind of like yellow. What I mean by that is green lights are like they give to pressure really well. They're really confident. And then you get green lights and you go, oh, everything's fine. He's not giving me red lights, but he's not really giving me bright green lights either. So we're just kind of in the middle. But I'm thinking that I can be okay to get on and put a little ride on him here because I only have 5 days. And so I'm trying to maximize the owner's money and my time that I have with him here and get the most out of it. So I'm just going to check him out here a little bit. I do wish he gave to pressure a little bit better. He's still kind of leaning on pressure. It definitely feels like he's got a little bit of tension going on. So he's kind of rubbernecking there a little bit. I'm kind of bending his nose, but he's kind of leaking out through his shoulder. That's not a great feeling to have. You'd kind of like a horse to follow their nose. Then you can see even if I pick up the reins here to stop him, he gets pretty stuck there. That's not a great sign either. I kind of like him to give to pressure. It's one thing if you're riding a colt, expecting that to be there. It's another thing when it's like somebody else, trained the horse and then they ended up kind of bucking. So it doesn't take long to figure out that horsemanship is more of a journey than a destination. It's challenging, it can be difficult, it can be emotional, it can be dangerous, and I think that it's important for everybody to have a mentor through that process. I would like to be your mentor, and I can do that through my Patreon page. We have detailed training videos on there, we have monthly giveaways, you can ask me questions about your horse, or even do video coaching. I'll leave a link in the description below. Look forward to seeing you on there. But he's kind of hard to bend and hard to stop when things are going well, which is right now. And so it's hard to think of how great it would go when things are not going well. So you're kind of got to trust your preparation here a little bit. See how he's rubbernecking there and kind of going through his shoulder? I'll just release him there. And again, it's his first ride back, and so I feel like he was okay to ride if I just kind of keep everything on the down low a little bit. I don't think he's ready to go, chase cows across the pasture at Mach 1 or anything, but we can hopefully get a little bit done here. Because the thing is, even if he had never bucked anybody off before that, which I don't know, he would have gotten scared too. He was obviously very scared to buck, but then him getting somebody off would have also scared him. And so that's kind of twofold. Whatever happened before he started bucking and then whatever he felt after that. And so we're kind of trying to erase some of those. Some of those memories a little bit, and you can't, there's no delete button on a horse, so once something like that happens, it's kind of in there where he got relief for bucking the rider off. And so I think the owner has gone back and did a lot of groundwork and got him more confident, so I think he's probably a more confident horse, less spooky and reactive now. But I definitely want to get his yields better before we start exposing him to too many things. And that was a little bit better. It's a little softer on that rein. You can see the slack there. See if he'll let me yield his hindquarters here. Good. We'll just expose him a little bit, put a little pressure on, recover, bend him down, get him soft here. There's like a ton of tension in his rib cage, which is interesting to me, but you can feel it. I can feel it when he moves there. It tenses up in the cinches, and I can feel it in my leg, and that's interesting. And so I'm going to do a bit more of the 3-circle game tomorrow before I ride him tomorrow. You see that little move that he does there where he got his head bent and his shoulders keep going? That's the one that makes me the least comfortable. The old, I don't know if there's a new phrase for it, but the old phrase was called rubbernecking, where they kind of tip their head one way and move their shoulders out the other way. So what I'm doing there is holding it and then releasing when he finally commits to pivoting on his front foot. And if you're ever riding your horse and teaching him to do yields on the hindquarters or yields on the forehand, hold that rein here until the pivot happens. So I'm holding, right, boom, right there. He pivoted on the front foot. And if you can learn to feel that, you can really have a lot more accuracy with your timing of releasing pressure. So now I'm just checking out, seeing if you can give me a little soft feel, which you can. Oh, that's good. Just get a little softness in there. But so far what I feel that I would do quite a bit of with him is practice speeding him up and then recovering. Lift, bend him down, and get him to find that yield, and then let him find relief there. So once he gets to that position where he locks up the front feet and pivots right there, that's when I'll give him relief. And so it's teaching him, because you want to be able to stretch out a horse's energy, life up, and impulsion by bringing their life up and then bring it back down. Bring it back up and bring it back down. Because when a horse gets, learning to buck or run off or things like that, it's when their emotions come up and then they get stuck. They don't know how to recover. You can't expect really any horse to be perfect all the time, but if you can get them to recover when they get bothered, it's going to be a much safer horse to ride in the long run. So that's going to be my big plan for this week with him, is teaching him to recover and just continue kind of getting him softer to yields and exposing him a little bit on the ground. And then just these first 5 rides back to me are going to be quite a bit about building his confidence back up, because I do feel like he's giving me a little bit of a side eye kind of as I'm riding around. It's not bad at all, but I'm preparing him for a novice person to ride and kind of figuring out what their best bet is going to be to move forward. And so the more the horse can trust the rider. Meaning if I push him too much, I might be able to ride through it. But if it scares the horse at all, and I leave the horse still not too sure about a human up here, then that's not going to bode well for the owner. And so that's the other thing I'm thinking about. And especially when you have a limited amount of rides. You know, if I had a year to ride him, it's like, well, you could expose him quite a bit and teach him to recover afterwards, you know. But when you only have a limited amount of time, it's really important just to really focus on instilling a lot of confidence in the horse. So I'm pretty happy with this for his first ride back. And I know you guys just got here to watch this video, but I've been out here with him for quite a while. So now I have a better game plan for what I need to do with him tomorrow. And hopefully the groundwork will go even quicker so I can spend more time on his back. And for this first ride back, again, like I said, I just want to really build his confidence and not challenge him too much. Because on the ground, we had a lot of resistance to asking him to canter. He would buck and kick out every time I asked him to canter. And so that's likely what he would do if I was doing it under saddle as well. And so I want to get that a little bit better about him willingly making that transition on the ground. But I like how he's following his nose a lot better here. And those two things can kind of come together. Him getting comfortable and settled with the rider. This being more the easier thing. I guess a better way to say what I'm trying to say here is I want to warm up strong to ride soft. I want to do more on the ground to release this horse to riding so that riding is kind of the sweet spot. I don't want to get up here and become the grizzly bear on his back and asking him for all kinds of things. And so we're going to expose him a little bit on the ground and challenge him there and then try to release him to a nice soft ride and continue building his confidence. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you on the next one.